All right, Coach David Klemick and Josh Hullsupple here at Klemick Performance Method Studio in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. VNL, Video Newsletter. I think this is like number 37.
Yeah, 37, 38, something. Yeah.
Pretty awesome. That means we're hitting it almost every week. We had a little hiatus of like maybe 2 months where we didn't hit any. And besides that, we've been very consistent. Whether you're listening or not, it's on there. This is a history book of what's going on here forever. So we can always look back and see what we were doing. Years and years and years from now, we can look back and see who was the athlete of the week at that time, and kind of the stuff that we talked about. The newsletter that we're writing now has articles that we talk about all the time. We just haven't recorded it. We need to record those things. So even if you don't watch it right now, it's going to be valuable someday, and it really has already paid off in a lot of ways. As a matter of fact, just when you think no one's watching it, and I'm not going to say who exactly, but somebody was watching it, and notice the quality at which we put into our work. And that was why they wanted to invest into our business, or have our business invest into them too. So, and that was a neat thing. And I'm being ambiguous right now, but not only that, but people that are looking at our possible online programming, they're saying the same thing. I would love to invest into that business. I would love to. Bring me that business up here. Let's do it in Florida. Let's do it in Massachusetts. I'll invest. People from parents of our program willing to invest. It's something that comes up with that much quality. So we're proud to do it. Sometimes we see the views are only like 114, even though we know that over 1,000 people get it. But hey, we're going to do it whether you look at it or not. So anyway, let's get into it. Next thing we're going to do is our announcements for the week. All right, announcements. So we got a lot going on here, but the main thing is we're still taking summer signups. And I know we get a huge rush at 4th of July. Right after 4th of July, a lot of people want to chill from the end of school year, and it ended later this year. So there's a less of a little break. So after 4th of July, we know we're going to get another rush. Still, if you want to get in now, get the signups before the people that are just like summer people that are like, they come here for the summer, then we'll give them the spots right after 4th of July. But if you guys who get the newsletter, I would get into the earlier ones that they go out first. Even though I think everything's about even spread. Yeah. We're even spread. They're all about 15 per class. So we're almost there with each one of them, but that's the main thing. Get in on the sign-up stuff. Do you have anything?
We got the Summer 24 shirts coming out. They'll be really cool. Yeah. I'm getting the samples in. I think it should be here tomorrow. But it's a really cool shirt. It just is going to be the first of many drops in our merchandise. Very high-quality clothing. I picked it out. I designed it. I made the shirt exactly how I wanted to. We're getting the samples in. And then once we get the samples and I okay the samples, we'll be putting those out. We're coming out with shorts this summer. We're also going to come out with socks this summer. So we'll have some cool stuff for the kids to wear. But other than that, I think it's the only thing we got for
we're
announcements.
Testing the schools. Oh, yeah. So mainland, because I know this is going to hit a lot of mainlanders. That's August 2nd at 7 o'clock in the morning. Be prepared for that. So even the night before or whatever, be prepared. We rescheduled Washington Township till July 8th.
Okay.
You won't even be there for the mainland one. I don't think.
No,
but,
I won't.
We'll be ready. We have a bunch of them coming up with Williamstown. We have next week. Adam D'Andrea taking the head coaching job. Another one of our alumni here, Pat Ruley, is now the head coach at Rowan, and who also just asked if we could come in and do all their testing as well. We're gonna have to have rules come down here. He's special, man. He's got it. He's just got it. And I coached him when he was at Holy Spirit in high school, and I just knew he was going to be a coach. Just knew it. He just had a leadership about him, and it's just awesome. And he's gone through some tough times where through position coaching and volunteering and all that stuff. And now, it's a big deal in New Jersey to have the Rowan job because it's a powerhouse program. Yeah. And it's where he went to school. He went to Rowan as well. Anyway, I'm excited for all those announcements, but really excited for this next segment, our Who Dat Athlete of the Week. Our new Who Dat Athlete of the Week is none other than our own Quasin Townsell, who is he's just fun to be around, right?
100%.
Just go ahead.
Yeah, I love Quad, man. He comes in here and he was NFL hopeful for camp. Things happened. He didn't make it to a camp. He didn't get called out, even though there's articles written about him as being the most feared linebacker in the HBCU. If you watch his highlights, he's just taking people's head off. He was at Villanova for 4 years at his grad year down in Hampton. Killed it down there. Probably is the best HBCU middle linebacker, interior linebacker in the whole country, which is amazing. Went to the combine, killed it. Had a little bit of a hip problem there too. Still killed it at the combine in the All-Star game. Now he's in here working. He has a camp tryout for the UFL. I think it's July 14th. He's just started a program up with a couple others in the area, and it's called What Advantage. Excuse me if I'm mispronouncing it or not saying the exact right. We'll post it up on the screen. But he's working with kids now. He's getting into coaching. He's moving back down to Virginia. He has a facility down there he's going to work at and do position coaching with kids at. He's giving back to the community. He's giving back to this area. He's giving kids an outlet to actually come out and learn how to play football, learn how to get ready for the next level. And then he just comes in here and kills it. Like he'll stay here for 30 minutes and then leave because he has to go to a session or go to a workout for the next one. It's just nonstop for him, man. And
he's a kid. He comes to work with a smile, but then he's intense when he does his work. And then he comes over. He's thanks everybody. Gives kids words of encouragement. He's got star power like Austin Johnson has. Where he makes everyone around him better.
Yeah, and the kids know. They look at him and they're like, oh, I'm working out with somebody right now. I don't know who this guy is. I'm working with somebody.
He will be somebody.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
he's gonna get a shot.
He is somebody, and he's gonna go to the UFL. And all it takes is that once he gets 1 foot in the door, that's all it takes.
And you'll fall in love with him. Everybody does when you meet him. He's just that's infectious in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm as proud of this kid as I have anybody in this program, and he hasn't even got it yet. And again, a lot of times, I'm not so proud of somebody's outcome. I'm proud of what they did work-wise.
I'm with you.
And that's what they did. They're controllables. And when they've done everything that they can, he has. And so I'm proud of him for that. So for that, you are our Who Dat Athlete of the Week. Well, next up, we're going to go on what's going on the inside of these four walls.
Yep.
All right. So inside the four walls of the facility, Josh and I and Cruz too programmed the entire summer out, and it's all pre-programmed. So now it's been really neat to see the progression from week to week. Throw up the scores on the screen. We've had a great looking display. It looks amazing, and also to see your scores from the previous week, and not just trust you to know what they are, but actually post them. It's a lot of data entry. Cruz is doing a ton of that. It's been very worth it.
So we're KPM. We are constantly in the pursuit of speed. Like, that is what we do. Acceleration, speed, initial force generation, center mass management. That is what we are after. We're not after anything else. If it's not going to help us get faster or displace ourselves better, we cut it out. We don't do it. We don't use it. We don't waste our time. Especially in the summer when we know all these athletes in here are getting ready to play a fall sport. We do not waste our time doing anything that won't help them get faster or that we haven't seen proven in this facility to get them faster. So we're killing it right now. We're rotating exercises. We're rotating tests. We're doing some new things that we haven't done before in the past because we've been like, I don't know if the kids can handle it. We said, you know what? The kids are going to figure out how to handle it. They're going to figure out how to do this exercise and get a lot out of it. And so far, it's working extremely well. I'm excited to see all these kids. Most of them have the results go up. But this is something that we talked about, and we should probably do a whole video. But the reason that we don't, that kids or programs or high schools don't do a ton of speed training the way we do it, acceleration training the way we do it, is because it's so hard to track and it's inconsistent. If a kid is new to a weight room, they can add 5 pounds every time they go in, 10 pounds every time they go in. They get progressively better a lot faster in a weight room. But when you look at speed and you look at our data entry week to week, sometimes kids get slower. And they're like, Coach, why am I getting slower? Why is this happening? And it's very discouraging. Or your vertical leap, for instance, like, Coach, I just hit a 3-inch PR. Why has it been for like the past 4 weeks that I haven't gone up in the vertical leap? And like, it's hard to give them a pinpointed response because the body is forever evolving. Like I was writing the article today and I was thinking about this. Like, your body is evolving in real time. Humans are evolving in real time and devolving at the same time. Like, there's times where you're going to go backwards and go forwards depending on the stimuluses that you put on your body. Your sleep,
your nutrition, like, maybe your body's taking in this food and it goes, oh, dude, we can't get faster. The food intake we don't have the nutrients to do this. If we give this guy more speed or this girl more speed, something's going to happen. An injury could happen. And these are all things that are still being worked out in the actual science community of it and the studies community of it. But, we're focused heavily on speed. And, again, what we always preach is don't, tie yourself to the everyday results and don't tie yourself to the everyday increase because it's not going to happen. But understand that over the course of 12 weeks in your progression, you're going to have a significant increase. You're going to have what you want. But week to week, it may look up, down, and you're always going to have a big peak. And then when we say to kids, when you're dipping, it's like, well, the lower valley leads to a higher peak again. And when you get to that peak, know that a valley's coming, a dip's going to come. It's just how speed and performance training works. And I always say too is you look at the speed progression of 100-meter guys. We're right around the Olympic trials right now, the 200 meters on today. Look at their speed progression and tell me what it looks like, and you're gonna be like, shoot, year to year they're only improving half of a second. Oh wow, Usain Bolt in the past 2 years of his career only improved 0.2 of a second, 1/10 of a second at the highest level. So the same thing happens for us, and it's going to improve at even lesser of a scale for some kids because our sample sizes are so small because we're acceleration-based, we're sports-based, we're not track-based, we're not 100-meter-based, although what we do will have a significant increase in your track times. When you're in-house with us, we are focusing on that 40-yard dash, that 40 quick burst, 10 to 20, 0 to 10, and those can only be improved by so much because it's such a short sample size. So
yeah, I think the neat thing about what we do is there is no way to cheat the numbers. So
No.
where in weights training, if you want your weight to go up 5 pounds every week and you're not getting it, what are you going to do? Change your technique so it's worse.
So you can
then you'll move your back up a certain way and then shorten the motion, and then you're like, oh, I got it. No, you didn't. You just changed and reformed your body so that you could accomplish something that looks like it worked. It didn't actually work. When you're doing this, you can't get around moving through 2 beacons or 2 lasers as fast as you can. It's not going to happen. So your processes have to change perfectly. Your technique has to change. We talk about physical and technical qualities. Sometimes both have. When you're changing a technical quality, sometimes you're not used to the sequencing of it. So then you have to get used to sequencing.
Which is exactly another great point about all that leads into it is sprinting is the hardest thing you can do for your body. It requires the most amount of sequencing. That's why getting fast is so difficult because you're moving every part of your body. If people don't know this, but the reason why cleans are used so much in track and field, and it's also because of a little bit of that triple extension going on, but because cleans have a larger when you do the electromagnetic tracking or whatever. I may be butchering that, but when you actually look at how much muscle fibers are activated, cleans are the closest to sprinting. They're more than a deadlift, they're more than a squat, they're more than a box squat, they're more than all the different variations. Cleans actually have in Olympic lifting have the most amount of muscle fibers active, and a lot of people go, okay, well, if we can sequence this movement better, we can improve this better, we're activating a similar amount of muscle fibers to sprinting, so if we get better at this should carry over to sprinting. Which we know now that nothing in the weight room can actually correlate person to person and say, hey, if we do this for this person, they're going to be as fast as this person in the weight room. We know it doesn't work like that. There's some variables, but that's the idea behind it. And you've been able to run fast. People think it's such a genetic thing because it's so hard to get good at. But I heard a coach, I think it was Tony Holler, which we love him as a track coach and a sprint coach, but he was he interviewed he interviewed a strength coach or whatever it is. It might have been Buddy Morris. I know I'm messing up names here, but he said that 70 or 80% of college athletes never even get close to their genetic ceiling for speed because they don't know how to train it. So the majority of athletes never even get close to their genetic ceiling for being fast.
And I'm going to say another thing. The best high school strength and conditioning coach that I know. Now, high school is where most athletes are going to end their career. It's going to end in high school. And the best high school strength and conditioning coach that I know is somewhere in my understanding of an evolution of sports performance that I was even before I started doing this. 20-something years back. And that's the best one that I know. Hasn't gone and seen, isn't bought in to the performance side that we are at 20-something years later. So that's where you're getting. So going to see a specialist like us is something that's going to change, would change dramatically the activity that you're doing, and it's not that we're hating on what the weight room is doing.
No.
There has been a dramatic amount of increase in. Now that's a great weights coach. That's a great weights coach.
Yeah.
But they're starting to see that the scores haven't changed. We've seen people and tested people year after year after year. Haven't come to see us. Look what happened to your scores. They've gotten worse. And they see us and they start to see this dramatic increase. And those scores are so important because that's what shows up on the field.
And
displacement.
And nowadays, like, high school athletes are now becoming almost pro athletes with the way that they run around, from PT to their batting coach to their pitching coach to their fielding coach to their strength coach to their conditioning coach to us. To what I'm getting at here is, if you go to a college program, you go to Penn State's going to have a strength and conditioning coach. They're going to have 5 other coaches on staff for those lifts and for those weight room stuff. You're going to have a nutrition coach. You're going to have your position coach. You're going to have your head. You get coached in every single way except for speed. You get coached in every single way almost except for speed training. And like when you're a kid in high school and you want to gain an edge and you're like, oh, let me look at Clement Performance. They don't have any weights. It doesn't look like how I think it should look. I'm just going to have my son lift in the garage. It's like, what are you doing, man? You're literally missing out on the most important part of getting to college, which is speed, and ties it all back into, that's why speed's our main goal and acceleration's our main goal.
I like when you say, it's one of my favorite things that you say. It's like, no one ever came in and said, who's in the best shape here?
Yeah, ever. like ever.
Who moves the best here?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a look at him. There's nothing that makes your hair stand up on your neck than seeing somebody pretty big that moves really fast. Nothing else works.
It's so easy. Like, if you weren't fast, would you have ever had a chance to even go to the NFL, to sniff the NFL?
Oh, no. I talked about that. I talked about that today, and I was like, well, the one thing that I had to make sure, even from coming from a small school, was that I had to show up. I have to show up on those test scores because they're going, you're playing in a smaller conference, not a super small conference, but it's smaller. I played against a big competition, but I've got to play against guys that on my team that we had come from Alabama, Florida State. Why would you fit in with the rest of us? How are you going to show up on the test scores? Make it the SATs. My SATs were better than your SATs by a long shot, but but I didn't get to play on the big stage.
Yeah, we harp on this all. It's the biggest truth, man. It's the biggest truth in the world. So
that's what they cared about. That's what the scouts cared about. I saw another thing but it's not everything that we do. But they say, what is it? Recruiters can tell me your times though, and then some really talented coaches that they can tell they can kind of see the player. So there's both. Like you have to. The numbers are you have to see those to believe. They're not going to go on like a myth. They want to see the concrete numbers.
Yeah.
So who do they send out? Not coaches, recruiters.
Yep.
Recruiters look at your numbers. They want to see that,
scouts.
verify in person, which is what we do. A talented coach can say, hey, if his numbers aren't good, then I can see. But how many people that numbers aren't good are phenomenal players? It's very low
rare.
Numbers. So you're looking for this needle in a haystack, somebody that tests bad but just plays great.
And this is
make it easy.
This is exactly why I hear it all the time. You have too. Why is this kid getting offers and my son or daughter isn't? Well, that kid checks all the prerequisite boxes to be a great athlete at the next level. Like, your son or daughter may have a better skill set as far as like passing better, shooting better, layups are better, fundamentals are better, route running is better, hands are better, but they can't actually play at the speed of the college level that they want to go to, and that's why you miss out on scholarships. And how do you equalize that? Well, you got to get faster. If you're short, you got to be really fast.
Yeah.
Or if you're smaller, you got to be really fast.
I know this is a plug for our own place here and what we do, but we're that passionate about it that it's almost like.
Well, I just hate seeing kids miss opportunities, man. Miss opportunities.
And they're because the testing has become so important. It's made our business. They've
added colleges and combines have added tests that now really just look like a typical day at KPM. I don't know if you know this, but now a standard is becoming the 3-jump broad jump.
3-jump. Oh yeah. One of our kids up in Massachusetts.
Yep, Matt Bonchek, man.
Drew also
too?
just had to do a 3-jump. He jumped 31.5. Was that good? Andy also, my old roommate, he's like, is that good? I'm like, yeah. It's over 10 foot per jump.
Yeah.
That's a really good jump. So 31 feet on 3 jumps, you're you're jumping basically 10 feet per jump.
The gold standard is 30 feet. That's what I was telling Kwasin too, because he is at his tryout. That's what he's doing. He's doing a 3-jump, broad jump too. We already looked at it, but it's crazy now. All of a sudden, they're starting to look like us. I've seen some combines where they're starting to set up a 10 laser now. The NFL combine just recently, within the past 5-ish, 10-ish years, on the NFL website is now releasing splits for different people running. So it's starting to literally become KPM just.
Again,
in person.
Eventually, we'll all be speaking the same language,
yep.
and eventually, it's just that we're going to be ahead. We'll always be ahead, and we have a sponsor called the Tracer, which is a biomechanics reader, which is going to put as soon as we get it all worked out and implement it into the system properly, it's going to be the thing that puts us into the next
game changer.
It's going to be the next thing that everyone's using, and we're on it. And we have one, which is just like the craziest thing ever, that we have a medical device. What darn facility, and I'm patting us on the back a little bit, what darn facility has a medical device like a Tracer in there? Like, nope, we're the only one. And I know that because I just got off the phone with the president of the company. We're the only performance facility in America that has a Tracer. And I think there's, a couple thousand of them out there at colleges and PTs places and clinics all over the place, but we're the only sport performance place. So that's inside the 4 walls. Next, we're going to go to outside the 4 walls. But outside the 4 walls and announcements. So I just and shout out to Ryan Williams, who's balling down in Georgia right now. He's been there for 12 days.
Yeah, I see the highlights every day.
You know what is neat about when you hear the crack of the bat when Ryan Williams touches the ball? That ball is ghost.
Yeah,
he has put a sound on the bat that I have never heard before. He's got a ton of power on it, like a check swing. The ball is out of the park. It looks
insane on film.
And he looks like the way that I have a picture of him. His dad sent me of what he looked like back then and what he looked like now. You got to put this up sometime. It's unbelievable, and his transformation as an athlete it's remarkable. He comes from a remarkable set of parents too. So I love them very much. I got a shout out to Joey Rachi.
Yeah,
some of the plays he's making. CJ Egri making
CJ.
ESPN type plays right now on.
We posted that on Instagram. Crazy play.
You got to see the CJ Egri catch.
Yeah.
Only CJ can make this play.
Yeah.
Only CJ can make it.
Yeah.
Watch this thing. Where he slides out of bounds into a wall at cooking through the outfield. Everybody else gave up on the play, and they started freaking out.
And this is something, too, is because his level and his ceiling of acceleration is so high. I'm sure in between there he was able to, turn on, turn off, but he's able to focus on the ball because he's already practiced accelerating a million times. His whole time with you was tens. So when he gets in game, his body just lets him go. Yeah. He's just focusing on the ball and can make those type of plays. That was phenomenal. I was blown away with that one.
We got some graduation parties coming up. We're going to try to get to. I know I just went to one of my favorites. I mean, I got to say, I cried at Allison Amadio's graduation party. I made a little speech about her when I was there. And as I'm making the speech, I realized how what we do, it goes beyond just coaching you and then time. It goes way past that.
Way past that.
She's a Bible study kid.
Yep.
And runs the Bible study.
Yeah.
And she's just an unbelievable human being that has a ceiling that is there is no ceiling to how successful she can be. And I don't care if she gets married and just has kids and she just wants to be the best mom ever. And I can tell you the amount of work that I've seen this kid do off the field, in the classroom, what she does in here, bringing us science projects and stuff like that. And this is one of the most unique individuals that I just wish one day my daughter can be a little bit like. That's it. She's amazing.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I see a ton of you guys on Instagram posting stuff. If you have anything you want us to shout us out, just DM it into the Instagram, and we'll be sure to shout you out.
Tim Watson's working with Williamstown School
amazing.
Right now. So we made that connection. And some of the other people that Tim's going to be working with, he's going to start our inner install. We're going to start that, which is he announced some of the people that were going to show up for this thing. It's a celebrity cast.
Wow.
If you just, it's not official yet, but go look at some of the people that Tim Watson has coached. They're going to be there for the inner install, which will happen in this facility. We're going to do it, I think, 3 times in the month of July, and it's where we talk about the mental aspect of training,
Yep.
of playing, and it's what he set up to be a winner at Cedar Creek, at Mainland, and now at the other schools that
Yep.
he's working with.
And here at KPM to
Yep.
take us to the next level. That's
so
going to be amazing.
we'll have that available. You guys go to an email, and we're going to do that in here and available through KPM and our and Zen Planner.
Yeah, awesome.
So we're excited. That's the video newsletter for
All right.
from Clemic Performance Method. See you next time.